So you want to know who the top builders are here in Utah County and Salt Lake County, and this is going to be your video to going over the top 6 to 10 different builders and possibly why you should be building instead of buying an existing home. Hi, my name is Jenny. I am with Real Broker. This is your first time to my channel. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and that bell that will give you notifications as I make videos every single week. Until then, you guys, let's jump into the video. So those are certain rankings in who can be the best builder and the top builder, and it's usually ranked by how many homes that they sell. Now those have changed between 2021 and 2024, but on average, Edge Homes seems to be the #1 ranking one. And the reason being are for 3 different reasons. The locations that Edge Homes is choosing, the designs that Edge Homes is choosing, and the price point, which I think happens to be the most important one when it comes to what builder is actually affordable for the average possibility in Utah. Now I want you to jump over to my screen. So this is Edge Homes right here, okay? And Edge Homes, you can see these are the locations they're building. So South Salt Lake, and a lot of them are in some very high, hot cities that are up and coming in Utah. So if you're to zoom into here, you can see Edge Homes has multiple communities. We've got the exchange condos. Edge Homes likes to do a thing where they build single family homes, they build townhouses, and sometimes they also build condos, all within the same HOA area. And that creates an influx of affordability for people who cannot afford the single family home, but can afford the townhouse. And those who can't afford the townhouse can afford the condo. Now, Edge Homes does something different than a lot of these builders, and that is building a massive HOA system. Pools, parks, recreational activities. So your HOAs are typically going to be more expensive by using Edge Homes. Edge Homes is a great company to work with. I've actually done a video specifically on Edge Homes, on this exchange community right here. This is a condo. Let's look at the details a little bit here on what do these townhouses actually look like. Now, I've been in so many different Edge Homes. I always say once you've seen one, you've seen them all, because they've been continually using the same floor plans for about 5 years because they know that they sell because of the affordability in this situation. So this is just an example of a community that took them about 3 to 4 years to build, okay? You have got hundreds of homes in this area. I have had clients buy homes in these areas. These are actually really good rental potential opportunities as well because they're mixed with all these townhouses, condos, and this one's all about location. This exchange is in between the 2100 where you've got Lehi by the primary children's hospital, and then just up more is the Saratoga Springs. So people like the fact that it's a more rural area, but it's easy access to the freeway. And that's what Edge Homes seems to do a really good job at, is buying the right land. As you can see here, you've got single family homes, and then you've got the townhouses, and then over here you've got the condos. So some people like Edge Homes, some people don't. Everybody's going to have a little bit different of a vibe, but the biggest vibe that I've seen with Edge Homes is their affordability for what they're offering, and that's why people keep picking them. Some of their up and coming ones that they have going on right now, the Ridge is a Saratoga Springs one. Look, you can see that one's a townhouse. They have single family. Their price points are going to range from about the average price point, which is about $550 for a single family home, but you can get townhouses around the $490. Now that price is subject to change depending on when you're watching this video, but you can also get condos as well. One of my favorite communities that they're building right now happens to be in Saratoga Springs, called the Wildflower. So you can see there's condos on this one. Here's the Wildflower. They don't even have a model home yet, but I have been on site with this one, and you can see this is going to have some good views to it. Again, they're mixing it with, here are the condos, and then we have single family homes right here. Looks like this one is going to have a pool community and a park. I love how versatile their maps are on here. So this is going to be a very busy road eventually, but the great thing is this one is on a hill. So if you're interested in something like this is on a hill. You're going to be able to see the view of these mountains all the way across here. So you're catching the view of the mountains on this hill right here. That's why I love that community. Now they are building some up north as well. So you got some South Salt Lake options with condos up here, okay? So you're not gonna get a lot of price points on these websites, but you can reach out to me. Using a real estate agent when you're building is so important because builders have a different process and a lot of people are not familiar with that process, and a lot of times they'll take advantage of the fact that you're not familiar with price points when it comes to inspections, when it comes to appraisals, when it comes to the blue taping, when it comes to the move-in process, when it comes to working with the title company, what kind of lender that's going to have your back versus just the lender that's preferred with the builder who has deals with the builder, and so they're more in favor of the builder than they would be for you. So that's why it's really important to have a realtor when you're trying to build a home. So here's another community. You can see it's starting to see the same trends. So that one is Edge Homes. Let's jump over to Ivory Homes. Ivory Homes happens to be one of the second ones in Utah, just based on how many homes they're building. Now these guys are building and selling over 300 homes a year. That number has started to slow down due to the turnaround of high interest rates and affordability in the housing. But here is Edge Homes. So you can see they've got a lot more land mass and opportunities to build. They are a higher price point when it comes to Edge Homes. They also have a lot more different layouts as far as home layouts is concerned. So that's what you're looking at. I can see all the way even in Grantsville they have some, in Park City they have some. We have some here in Orem, the Shore Ridges starting from 500. Same areas that we were just looking at, 625, that's Salt Lake. Then if we look in Eagle Mountain, we've got 430. In Lehi, we have got 440. In Highland, now Highland's gonna have more big, larger lots with a bigger home. So you can see definitely closer to the million price point on that one there. Let's look at the Lehi one just to kind of compare what we were just looking at though. The Jordan Walk Towns. I'm assuming that is a townhouse when I see that price point, that 440. So this is kind of what you're looking at here. This is the model home. So we can view the model home. We can go look at it. A lot of these builders are going to have a turnaround 30-day move-in opportunity. So if you're someone who wants to jump on the bandwagon and get an option of building, you can pick up more of your cabinets, you know, the layouts, and move some stuff around with an extra a la carte cost. If you're wanting to be more specific, then you're going to need to get into this game at least 6 to 9 months before the home is going to be ready. Now, most builders say that you give them about 6 months. I always say give them an extra 3 months because you never know with permits and with building issues, with any supply issues, if that's going to be shorter or longer. Just give yourself that extra window when you're wanting to build. Here are some layouts. So it's just a sip. Let me show you the main level. I feel like I've seen all of these, but I have to remember that you guys have not. It doesn't want to pull up though. Okay, they have a cute little video on here. The thing is with the Jordan Walks homes I've been seeing here is those high rises. So they're building you about 4 levels and then you're getting a deck on the top. So that's what I'm seeing right here on this one. They're obviously going to try to pitch you and show you what the area is going to look like. A lot of times it's going to come down to location. So what I will do with my clients is all I know is what your points are. You need 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, 3-car garage. Here's your price point. You need a backyard. You want a finished basement. You want an unfinished basement. You want a finished backyard. You don't want a finished backyard. And I take all of those things and I look around with the builders and I do the research for you. I make the phone calls. I'm making sure the price points are aligned. That way we can just go and look at the homes and you can focus more on how do you feel in that home? Do you like the layout? Do you like the area? Do you like the room? And I can actually narrow it down to about 4 building spots and then we can go showcase those if you are interested in doing something like that. So there is Ivory Homes. They have a ton of different locations. I personally love working with Ivory Homes. I think that they do a good job as far as the infrastructure is concerned. If I were to compare it from Edge Homes to Ivory Homes, I would say Ivory Homes is a little bit of a step higher as far as quality of their home builds are. All right, let's jump over to our next builder, D.R. Horton. Now, there's a lot of things I could say about D.R. Horton, good and bad, but it really just depends on what areas you're happy with. They're really starting to maximize the southern areas of Utah County. In fact, I have walked through some communities in the Santaqiun area, if you're interested in that video above there, and I'm really noticing that they're maximizing the townhouses. So these top 3 builders that we've looked at, you're going to be getting a design team behind you where you can design some things, but the structure stuff is already in place. The architecture design is already done. If you're wanting something a little bit more custom, leave a comment below and we can talk about custom builders. There is a huge influx of builders in Utah right now, and we could be talking about different locations all day. As you can see, we've probably already seen over 40 different locations for 3 different builders. We We have got literally a slew of builders. I can't even name them. The list is probably about 50 to 100 different builders in Utah right now, because build is actually cheaper than buying an existing home. And the reason being in that is that your existing homes seem to sit on more land and have larger square footage. Now, it's your question do you want to ask yourself is, do you want a newer home at a lower price, or do you want more square footage, an older home on a larger lot? That's the debate when it comes to a lot of these people who are moving on the price points they can afford. I have a lot of clients who are moving towards the new build because it just makes sense. Now, builders also have a lot of incentives that they give out as far as credits towards the closing costs, towards concessions, towards a buy down rate, towards title fees. There's a lot of incentives that builders are giving out there, and they're trying to be very competitive with the interest rates. So that's something that we would go through when we sit down and talk about, okay, where are the interest rates? What interest rates can you afford? This is my job. This is what I do, is I sit down and I say, okay, you can afford this, but you don't want to pay $4,500 a month. What can you afford? Even though you qualify for that, you might not want that monthly payment on this type of home. So we adjust, play with those numbers, and then I determine what availability is out there for you. Okay, let's jump over to my screen again for D.R. Horton. Okay, so here are the communities D.R. Horton students. We've got Santaqiun, we've got, where is this one? It looks like it's Salem, Mapleton, Provo. They do have Eagle Mountain. Pretty much every builder is in Eagle Mountain right now. There's so much opportunity with land in Eagle Mountain. The reason why people like Eagle Mountain, as you can see the location of this, is not that far away from the I-15 right here. And so you have a lot of people who are working and commuting, my husband being one of them, who actually commutes to Salt Lake from Eagle Mountain. And it doesn't seem to be that bad of traffic versus trying to go all the way through the point of the mountain. This point of the mountain causes a lot of traffic jam. And so the people in Eagle Mountain take the back roads, and there's a lot of construction happening on that road. And I've left a video up there talking about all the infrastructures happening in Saratoga and Eagle Mountain as well. So when we're looking at D.R. Horton, look at these price points. They're very low. Now that is because you're in Eagle Mountain. That's why a lot of people are moving to Eagle Mountain. You look at Saratoga Springs, that price is pretty low. You go down further, American Fork is a little higher because she's pretty much maxed out on her land capabilities. And this is American Fork right here. We go down here, Lehi is going to be higher, again, $700,000. That might be more of a single family home. I'd be surprised if that was a townhouse price. It does say 1 to 2 story. They have 5 homes available right now in that price point. In Salem, $367,000. These are going to be townhouses. In Spanish Fork, $350,000 townhouses. I've actually driven through this community when I visited Spanish Fork in my video. Again, Santaqiun. D.R. Horton does have an HOA. Ivory Homes is hit and miss when it comes to HOAs. A lot of times Ivory Homes will not do a pool. They'll just do a little bit of a park. Whereas if it's a townhouse situation, you're going to have a larger HOA due to the infrastructures of taking care of the yard work most of the time. So HOAs will depend between, a townhouse is usually around $150,000 and above. If you could get a townhouse location under $150,000, it's probably going to be more down south. So the Summit Ridge probably be a little bit less than that. And it also depends on how many townhouses are in that community. And if you have a pool, it's going to be more expensive. So your Edge Homes HOAs are going to be around $175 a month. Then you've got your Ivory Homes are hit and miss. Sometimes it's just a park and it's like $65 a month because single family homes don't really seem to care too much about HOAs, whereas your townhouses really do. It's more about the community. And there's a new thing happening out here in Saratoga and Eagle Mountain as well. And they're spreading, trying to get more momentum in Santaqiun, Spanish Fork, and Springville. And that is the idea of buying into the community, buying into this lifestyle of parks, trails, hiking opportunities, giving you more of an amenities, but you have a smaller home. And so Daybreak in South Jordan really sold that concept where they built in man-made lakes, and you've got fishing, and you've got canoeing, you've got kayaking in there, you've got beautiful bridges, they've got little cafes, they're bringing the community to you. We even have 15-minute cities, where I've left a video above where there's a video about a 15-minute city that is proposed to be built by the city in a city called Bluffdale, which is just right here across the street, across the freeway from Draper. And so there's all this concept of actually trying to create more of a community rather than just the house. Whereas D.R. Horton's very similar to Ivory Homes, where you're not going to see like pools, massive areas. It just hit and miss on the community and based on the demographics of that area. D.R. Horton has a lot of different projects going on throughout the nation. They're not necessarily a Utah builder, whereas Edge Homes is more based in Utah. Ivory Homes has most of their business in Utah, but they do spread out across the United States. I'm not an expert in this, but I do know that D.R. Horton is a very nationally renowned builder versus the other two. And again, they sold over 300 homes within the last 18 months within Utah. But their concept is mainly townhouses. Okay, let's jump into the next builder. David Weekley Homes. I, in fact, just did a video on this, toured in the area in Saratoga Springs. So click that link above there. You can actually look into, I think I walked through 2 different model homes in an area in Saratoga Springs. So as you can see down here, David Weekley Homes has built a lot in the Daybreak community, and that is the one where they're selling the lifestyle. They're building the ponds, they're building the cafes and trying to bring the community to you. That is in West Jordan. They've built a lot of them in Oquirrh Mountain, West Jordan. They've got some in Riverton. It looks like a little bit by Harriman. Here's West Valley. They even have some in Alpine, David Weekley Homes. This is the one I toured over here, the Beacon Point. They also have the Braxton. You can see between 500. These houses are going to be around 2,700 square feet. Your average 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, unfinished basement, 2-car garage, and a small backyard. Your acreage on something like this, you guys, is going to be about 0.15 acres. Now that's pretty common for new builds right now. If you can get a lot bigger than 0.2, you're paying around $800,000 for that lot with the home included in that, obviously. So it just really depends on what you're looking for. And now you can see that if you do want land, you might need to go towards existing versus building. Just kind of depends. They got some American Fork ones. Look how beautiful these are. $745. Let's look at their floor plans on David Weekley Homes. Now, David Weekley Homes is going more towards the, I would call it like a chic, modern meets farm life vibe, whereas Ivory Homes is a very conservative. D.R. Horton is very conservative. Edge Homes is trying to put more of that trendy vibe into it, but they have to keep with the affordability in there. Whereas David Weekley Homes has got more of a fashionista design. If you were to ask me, you've got the nice paneling on the roof right here. You've got the, now this is not uncommon for those other builders, but I'm just noticing, you've got the nice little shutters. The builders are a little bit different in how they are designing these. Now we've got Ramblers here. Looks like this one is in Pleasant Grove. Pleasant Grove is actually getting maxed out on their new builds, and I actually might be going in to film this community next week, which I'm excited about. So you can do some home tours. A lot of these are to be built. So look at this beautiful one. As you can see, what I'm telling you, it's just a little bit of a different vibe. It kind of is that Daybreak vibe where it's kind of that beachy farm life, city life, all mixed in the same house. And I actually really do like that vibe. And so if you're interested in something like that, go check out that video I've left up there above. Again, it's going to depend on the location. These guys have some really good locations. They have some good incentives going on, and I actually include that in my video when I go through the tour of what, but those expire. I don't even know if they're still good anymore, but you got to call. We got to figure out what makes sense for you. David Weekley Homes seems to be concentrating in just the mainstream areas. We do have just a couple of them in Salt Lake City and only a couple in Utah County. So you can see they're not like building crazy like Edge Homes or Ivory Homes is, but I do like their builds. They are beautiful builds, and they have some good incentives going on right now. So go check out that video if you're interested. All right, we got 2 left. Let's go look at the last 2. Richmond Homes. Richmond Homes has been around for a very long time, whereas Edge Homes really came about in about last 20 years. Whereas I feel like Richmond's been around for decades, and they still build a very good price point home. In fact, this is the one that my client just decided to go and build with, just because they liked the layouts. It was more of an open layout, more larger rooms, walk-in closets. Now you do pay for a price on that. It just depends on your price point and what you can afford. So a lot of the fun places that they are building is over by Saratoga Springs, where you get that lake view in that area called Heron Hills. So around the $600,000 range, they are building this extra 3-car. These ones are very similar to like what an Edge Homes vibe gives me, as far as that 2-story layout. All the bedrooms are upstairs. The main level is the main level. You've got the office and you've got the unfinished basement. It just kind of depends on what you're looking for. They have some great opportunities in Eagle Mountain. You can see they've got 3 different locations in Eagle Mountain. A very different vibe than over here. These are going to be a little bit more expensive lots due to the view and the location. Whereas in Eagle Mountain, it might be more affordable for what you can do. Look at the square footage. Just really depends. Look at that. 400,000. That's in Tooele though. That makes sense in Tooele. I was like, whoa, I don't think you could get that in Eagle Mountain. That's super cheap. So this is more like Eagle Mountain, around the $500,000 range. You could even get 3,200 square feet on these things. So a lot of these, the bedrooms are all on the top level. Usually with 2 stories, that's what you're looking at anyway. If you are wanting to get a primary room on the main level, you might want to look into getting a Rambler for something like that. So it just kind of depends. They are in Saratoga. Looks like they have 3 spots in Saratoga. You can get beautiful big homes custom custom built. You can get some land with Richmond, seems to do larger lots with a larger price point as well. They have some in Harriman, as you can see. Very basic design. So just looking from David Weekley Homes versus Richmond Homes, you can see this is more of a basic design versus the new chic vibe that David Weekley Homes is trying to give off. They do have some availability, I noticed down here in the St. George area, because they are a larger company compared to some of the ones that we just viewpoint. D.R. Horton's probably still the largest one that we've looked at overall. But you can see in Hurricane, we've got 400,000. In Spanish Fork, 700, that's more north. You've got Ivans. Ivans is like the armpit of Cedar Hills. Here's St. George. It says call for more info. Looks like this is they're sold out. So again, it's sold out again in Harriman. So these ones are sold out. Just kind of depends on if they have another phase opening. You can always do more research to see, okay, what phase are you in? When it comes to phases, okay, I always recommend, if it's possible, to get into the first phase, especially if they plan on doing 3, 4, 5 different phases of neighborhoods and street. Now, what phases mean is that they have funding to build so many homes. Then once they sell all those homes, they have more funding to start the next phase. Now they own all the land outright, but they need the funding to be able to start the construction on these homes. So typically and historically and consistently, what happens is if you build in phase 1, by the time phase 3, 4, or 5 is done, your home value has only gone up significantly. So if you're in a smaller community where you do have to put up with the construction, that's for sure. But if you get in that first phase, the chances of your equity growing between 3 to 5 years is exponential versus if you bought in the third phase. Now, again, you don't just aim for that in general. There's a lot of other factors that are at play, but that's something I definitely recommend doing. All right, let's jump over to our last builder. Okay, our last builder, but guys, there are so many other builders that I didn't even bring up. I know I can just think of like 5 different ones on the top of my head. Bring up a couple of them. You've got MDC Homes, you got Woodside Homes, you got Lennar, which is another really big one. Wright Homes, that's Destination Homes, R5 Homes. There are so many different builders, but this is gonna be the last one that we go over. If you are interested in more builders than what I've talked about, leave a comment below and we can totally go over them as well. If not, just call me, text me, set up a time to communicate with me and we can go over your situation specifically, especially if none of these were in the areas that you're interested in. I do have some clients that are looking to build more up north, and so we've been looking at builders up north as well. That is above Salt Lake County in the Weber and Davis County, and so I have no problem doing that as well. Okay, Holmes Homes, they have a lot of ready to move in homes, and you're gonna see that trend with a lot of builders right now, and I think I've already mentioned that. In fact, I feel like you get a better price, what they're called spec homes, than actually trying to build a home and be on the market for 6 to 9 months. Reason being is they want to move these homes because they need cash flow to continue to build other homes. And so the incentives seem to be a lot better on their existing homes. Now, a lot of builders have existing homes because back in 2020 and 2021, there was a massive influx of buyers. Builders could not keep up. Contracts were flying out the door. Plenty of people putting down deposits and sitting and waiting for their houses to be done up to a year just because the interest rates were low. Huge mass of people wanting to move in, okay? Things have changed now. The interest rates are a lot higher. Affordability is a lot harder. And so a lot of these builders are going to have spec homes sitting, at least 3, 4 different homes on the particular lot. You can see right here, these guys are really maximizing in the Salt Lake area. They even have some Park City areas, which we didn't really talk about, but it might be kind of fun to go look at them. Let's see if they'll let us. Okay, so you've got the Deer Water Resort. Oh, okay, I'm very familiar with this. This is a lifestyle again. As you notice, these builders are trying to sell a lifestyle. More of that beachfront vibe because you're getting lake views. Utah's, and there's even a community up north, I can't think of it, where you've got lots right on the shoreline of this man-made lake that they built, where you can put jet skis and boats on there. Utah is turning into a little California, but we don't have the weather to support that. So what we're doing is creating a community with our man-made tools to giving you that outdoor lifestyle that you might like in California. We don't have beaches, but we're making lakes. We're making sand beach fronts by all of the communities, not all of them, but the communities that have these. And Park City is definitely one of them. They're giving you that vibe for obviously winter, for skiing, but they also want to give you the vibe for the lake because there's a beautiful lake right over there. And this is it right here. I drive past it. There's a lot of fun camping spots around there. You're starting to see a lot of these $1 million homes be built. Looks like they got townhouses, condominiums, and single family homes. Guaranteed in Park City, if you want a single family home, home, you're going to be around the $800 to $1 million price point, or even to $1 million right here. As you can see, here's the 613. You've got 2,400 square feet. That's still a reasonably good price. It's probably not going to have a view looking at that price point there. 605, look, no, these are already move-in ready homes that you can go look at. This one is move-in 579. Look, they got some good ones. So we're looking at 2,800 square feet for that one. What's happening in Park City is the affordability issue as well. We've got a lot of transit people moving in as far as vacation homes, celebrities, lifestyle. People are buying into the lifestyle over there, and it's causing prices to go up like crazy. Well, those who want affordability are now moving out to the outskirts of Park City, and this happens to be one of those areas, which is across the lake, not in the hub of Park City, but it's by this lake. And then you drive into Park City. It's about 20-30 minute drive. People are also moving to Heber, where there's also a lot of new builds over there, which is also $1 million homes over there, because Heber is also about 20-30 minutes away from Park City. So they're calling it like the armpit of Park City. So that's kind of fun that they're building over there. We do have one spot in Saratoga Springs that they are building at the Mallard Bay. Let's see what they have here. Okay, so it's got 4 bedrooms, 3.5 baths. This is also a new trend in Utah, where we're starting to see more of the 4 bedrooms and 3.5 baths. So here's a fun little video that they've made here with a home. Notice how the garage is in the back. That's really common nowadays, to get rid of the backyard and put the garage in the back, because these lots are a lot smaller. This is a vibe. This is what people are doing nowadays, and building might be for you. And if it is for you, reach out to me. Let's have a conversation and get things started, because wherever you're at, your home ownership is going to start right here on this page. So call me. Let's get connected. I'll see you guys in my next video.